Hi, we're Jess and Bryce, and we want to share with you how we built our bridge on our property in Montana.
This video is starting with the crane being there. Um, on that day we were setting all the eco blocks, 8,000 pound blocks, starting with that. This was a October day, and we had to get all this done in one day. Everything was scheduled, but before any of this high productivity work goes on, there's a lot of prep work, including all the permitting, the surveying, the impact studies, and things like that. There you can see the block gets tipped on its side just so the point isn't sticking up when it gets placed. So there's going to be 3 blocks on each side of the creek sitting on a bed of approximately 3 yards of gravel on each side of the creek. We decided this was the best way to go with the big 8,000 pound blocks. They're 3 foot by 3 foot by 6 foot, and that requires no pouring and setting of concrete in that cold weather and across the creek. Like, as you can tell, it's kind of a tricky area to get into. As each block was getting placed, the ground was warming up and going from a kind of a frozen condition to somewhat boggy down there in the creek bottom. We chose this spot to cross the creek because we wanted to build a house up the hill. Our driveway is about 1,200 feet long, so roughly a quarter mile, and then after it goes down into that wetland area and starts climbing, it climbs about 60, 80 feet up the hill where we chose to build. The bridge needed to be strong enough so that the companies that were bringing in the concrete and the pumper trucks, the gravel trucks, all would feel confident moving their heavy equipment across this bridge, back and forth, hauling those hundreds of yards of materials that needed to be placed.
Our 2 sons were here helping us this day as well.
We're on the approach side of the creek now, the side that the vehicles come from when they come from the highway. And working with the Montana crane crew, they sent a very experienced couple guys up, a rigging person and a crane operator, that we were able to feel very comfortable and safe working around these blocks. The crane company finished setting the blocks with us, and then those two went back with their semi to pick up our shipping platforms. They're decommissioned, basically ocean shipping flats that had been in service since 2008 and decommissioned in 2017. Perfect for our bridge, and they came from Houston. So the crew came back from lunch. They went to Bozeman to pick up the rest of our materials and began to get pretty well stuck. So we had to pull them out with our pickup a couple times just to put them back on the road. That seemed to be working okay, but the driver still had problems backing that rig up. We had to make some quick decisions, so Bryce went back to get cell phone service and figure out a way to get this vehicle down into the creek bottom there. So they brought back a D7 dozer, and actually the boss came out with them this time. Now that the hauler was in place, the crane could safely angle over and pick those bridges right off of the truck, and here they're swinging them over to where they're going to live forever. And this was 40 feet long end to end, and there's 2 bridge decks, so it's 16 feet wide, and you can just see us there in the bottom of the frame, kind of moving some pieces of tire around to keep them under where the bridge is bearing on to the blocks. This just keeps it from vibrating too much and crushing up those blocks.
I think this was the most exciting part of the day, was to see the bridge decks being set in place and seeing it all come together.
Now we have all of the components in place on the bridge, and we had to just do a few things to keep anything from moving around over time. So we got some standard bolts that go with this shipping equipment and bolted the two decks together. Another thing that we did that's not in the video, I apologize, is put 3x3 angle iron across all three of those blocks and then bolted it down into place. You can see fabric there kind of covering up the edge. Before we put any gravel and dirt on this other side, we had to kind of just pull some of that mountain down, so that's why the excavator had to go down first, and then we were able to start putting our heavy pit run in on top of some more dirt.
And that's how we built our bridge. If you have questions or you'd like to see part 2 on what we've done to it since and how it's holding up, just comment and let us know.
Another high flood day, April 22nd. Gone down a bit though.